What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball. I'm back here with another episode of Roster Revival, the series where we take a look at a very much struggling team and try to point them in a little bit better direction. The goal of this series isn't to win a championship, it's to take a team that seems like it's kind of spiraling, we're not quite sure where they're gonna go, and we just want to straighten them out a little bit. In this episode, we have the Portland Trail Blazers, which I don't think there's gonna be any disagreements that this team is in disarray, but hey, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. All right, let's get into it. And y'all know what that means, man. We're back on the spreadsheet. You guys are familiar enough with this display at this point. This is a display that we use in a lot of different series to kind of take a look at a team in its entirety. We've got things such as depth charts, salary cap counters, draft pick assets, and then just roster numbers all together. And again, we're talking about the Portland Trail Blazers today. At the time of recording this, which is the 27th, I'm doing a bunch of pre-recording because I have to travel again and busy weeks and stuff like that, and I want to get you guys content. Trailblazers are 0-2 at this point. Nothing to like phone home about. I mean, this team we don't expect to be very, very good this year. I mean, there's some people that think this could be the worst team in basketball, and I wouldn't like hate on you for that one. This team's got a roster that's in a bit of disarray, meaning like the talent is kind of like all over the place. Some of the better talent, as we'll see here, isn't even playing right now, and I don't know. It's kind of a mess at this moment, especially when you watch them play. Like, their offense doesn't make much sense. Their defense isn't much better, honestly. But like, in all fairness, they do have an interesting like defensive group of players out there. I just don't think their scheme's very good, but that's just me. They're playing solid defense at this point in the season. Again, 2 games, small sample size, but what do we want to do? I want to take this team and start giving it a direction, right? Because it doesn't seem like this team's like trying to lose just yet, and we never want to like all the way try to lose, but we want to better position this team for when they're inevitably going to lose, and we want them to use some of their draft picks and stuff like that and go get some better players. And so we're going to have a quick breakdown of this roster, and then we're going to make some moves and try to make this team look a little better. Starting off with draft capital and everything. Now, we do have access to our 2025 first round pick. You'll see here that it's going to Chicago. The first round pick is lottery protected for the next like couple seasons. So like the Bulls will keep having a shot at this thing. It's probably just going to turn into a second round pick most likely, but no worries. This team's going to be in the lottery one way or another. It's just not a very good basketball team. So we're going to be having our first round pick this year, and we want to because it's a very good draft class, right? We don't have a lot of extra draft capital, though, despite the spot we find ourselves in, and that's another thing we're going to try to create today. I mean, you look at the first round picks that we have, and they're all mostly in our name. We have a Celtics pick in 2029 and a Bucks pick. Who knows how they look at that point? But again, mostly our picks, not a lot of extra seconds necessarily to go around either. We want to start to build up our treasure chest of second round picks. Looking at the salary cap situation, if you guys want a breakdown of how all these different levels work, go watch some of my other videos like the season preview. I talk about them a lot more there. We're about $5 million away from the luxury tax, and we don't want to be a luxury tax team if we're not going to be good. So one of the rules today is we're not going to cross the luxury tax, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be decreasing the salary like overall. That's just an overall goal of this episode. Taking a look at the team in itself, we got some expensive players that could be valuable to move. DeAndre Ayton's a guy that I'm a little bit frustrated with in his style of play. You guys have heard me talk about it before, and we've taken a look at his heat map. I just don't think it's very conducive to helping the team win. His operating area around the free throw line and everything doesn't allow for great pick and roll play. I sometimes feel like the effort's not all the way there, and so I don't know. He's going to be a guy that we talk about moving in this one. There's probably a lot of potential trades in here. Jeremy Grant's having a good start to the season as always. He's a very solid player. Anthony Simons is always really good offensive player, but again, is he in the way of a guy like Scoot Henderson? Then you guys are wondering why these names are white. These are 3 injured players right now, and the depth chart that I've built out here is the real life depth chart that the Portland Trail Blazers are using at this point. Anthony Simons is the starter, Tamani Kamara, Denny Advia, Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton. That's the first 5 they're running with. If we go look at the rotation then, and these are accurate minutes as of this very moment, Simons is getting a ton of minutes, Kamara's getting like a couple, Scoot Henderson's kind of acting as like the 5th starter, as the 6th man, pretty much. They have a lot of top-heavy minutes. Jeremy Grant's playing a lot, DeAndre Ayton's playing a pretty good amount, and then it drops off pretty significantly, like Rupert's getting a few minutes here and there, Donovan Kling and Chris Murray, Jabari Walker, but again, we're missing some important players on this team, and Robert Williams, who is hurt again, and we're not sure when exactly he's going to come back. They're probably going to baby him because he's going to be a guy we look to trade in this video as well. He just He is, right? That's what he's on the team to do at this point, is to be a trade piece. Matisse Thybulle, who is a valuable player on this team, like to keep him if possible for the 3-and-D mentality that he plays with. That's really nice. Shaden Sharp, one of our more interesting young players who a lot of people think has a lot of star potential. I'm not sure I see that. I see him as like very athletic and stuff. I still haven't seen him quite figure out the game yet, but he's young, right? He's extremely young, so it's not like we're going to be moving him. We got a couple options on some of these guys. There's a player option for Matisse Thybulle, so presumably, if he doesn't have like a lights out season, it might be good for him to keep this contract at least. A Scoot Henderson team option, Shaden Sharp team, Chris Murray team, and then Rupert team. No reason you probably don't keep all those guys around at the end of this season. So just looking at what we have, we know we're going to get Shaden Sharp back, and he's going to come into our starting lineup at some point, right? It sounds like he's going to be out for probably like another month or so into the season, so we just know to kind of pencil him into this rotation, right? That's what we're trying to do with him. Long term, we hope that he's our starting two. Matisse Thybulle's probably going to come back. Robert Williams, we don't want to rush him back. We want to be able to play him for at least a little bit so we can show that he's healthy and he's still capable, so that we can try and trade him. But the timeline in this video is going to be a little bit skewed because we're going to just be working out what trades we want to see materialize kind of throughout the season. So that's kind of the idea that we'll keep in mind, and then we'll throw all of our injured players back in to kind of see where we ended up. But the first thing I want to talk about is what goals do we want to achieve? Scoot Henderson is probably the most valuable, like, star potential player that we have on this team. I think that that's a fair assessment of the roster, right? Scoot Henderson has a ton of ability, and his ability to get up and down the court, strong, fast. He's got pretty good instincts overall. Like, the shooting is obviously a little hit and miss right now, but just like his athletic ability alone and some of his instincts tells me, like, this guy could be a really good player in the NBA. What the Trailblazers have continued to not do is give him an opportunity to have, like, success on the court. I think putting him around guys like DeAndre Ayton, who aren't very conducive to a play style such as Scoot Henderson, I think makes it a lot harder. You've had guys like Anthony Simons and like Malcolm Brogdon and other names on the team that take the ball out of his hands, and Scoot's not very valuable without the ball right now. I want to try to develop Scoot as much as possible, so I'm probably going to try to get Anthony Simons out of his way so Scoot can go be this player. And also, like, is Simons really a part of our long-term plan? Because, like, somebody's going to have to pay him more money than this, and I don't see necessarily the point in doing so. He's got 2 years left, so it's enough time for a team to find him valuable. I'd like to keep it that way. Is Jeremy Grant a tradable player? Potentially. Like, could we get the Lakers to bite on him? Potentially. And I want to be realistic in this series, right? I want to look at this team and be like, hey, what moves actually make some sense? So this team could make a lot of trades. They really could. They've got some valuable pieces here, and like these three names up here might be the three that need to go, along with like a Robert Williams. We'll see, but I don't know. We'll explore it. Denny is a player that they lucked into because the Wizards are just incompetent, and so they have Denny on the team now, and I think that's a great piece to have with them long term. He's another guy that can be a lengthy defender, that can shoot the ball a little bit. He's coming off his best season yet, where he's really starting to figure things out. He can be a nice secondary ball handler at either forward spot. I love that for the team. I like guys like Tamani Kamara. I think they've got some potential to be a nice rotational piece out there. And then we want to get Donovan Clingan on the court. Like, we just used a lottery pick on him. I think he can be an NBA starting center. Like, his defensive instincts are really, really good. His offensive game is always going to be a little bit limited in terms of scoring, but that's okay. We can go find other scorers. Like, there's plenty of guys that want to score the basketball nowadays, but he's got a decent passing vision already, which I think could be really useful with a guy like Scoot Henderson, so that you could kind of run like a De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis type hub offense out of it, and that's what I kind of want to build towards, especially when you have smart guys like Denny on the court as well. So those are kind of the key guys that we want to try to keep. I'm going to go start trying to execute on some trades. The first one being Anthony Simons, because the first thing that we got to do is get Scoot Henderson on the court, right? Like, I totally understand why he's sixth man right now. He's still getting a ton of minutes, but I want him to be the clear starting point guard. Let his role be clear on this team. Let's go start making some moves. And y'all know what that means. We're back on Fanspo. I love Fanspo, man. It's just so fun to execute things like this. This is a quick plug, by the way, to go join the Discord. Links is always in the description. We got guys posting trade ideas in there all the time via Fanspo. Thank you to those of you that are doing that. I always love reading those, even if I don't comment on all of them. I find it very interesting to see what you guys are thinking. So, Portland Trailblazers, I'm going back to the trade that just makes sense. Orlando Magic need a shot creator, and they need a point guard. I want to get Suggs over to the 2. I think that's where he's at his best. So what I want to do is make a move to where we can get Anthony Simons over there, and I think that there's an easy way to do it. Anthony Simons over to the Magic. He's from the Orlando area. He's named after Penny Hardaway. Like, get him on this team. It makes too much sense to me. What I want to take back is Jet Howard, who isn't really even in the rotation rotation right now. He did get a couple minutes last night, and from what I've seen out of Jet Howard a little bit, he's starting to figure out the shot form. Looks really, really good. He's coming off the right motion and stuff. This is a guy we want next to Scoot Henderson. We want a lengthy guy that can spread the floor, right? So we take him back, right? We need to take somebody else back too, though, in order to make this money work. Cole Anthony is the obvious target. He's not needed on this team at this point. Anthony Black is taking his minutes over, and deservedly so. Cole Anthony can be a nice just reserve point guard for us. We take this, and we're going to take a pick as well, most likely, because look, Anthony Simons, hell of a basketball player, right? Can go get you 25 points any night on the court. So what do I want? I'd like another 2025 first round pick. I'd kind of like this Denver first round pick. It's not a crazy pick by any means, but because Denver's probably going to be good, but I'd like to take this pick right here. And this is the first one. Oh, we can't execute on this? Tell me why. We need to cut another 214K. Blah, blah, blah. Cut another 214K. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so what else are we gonna do with this? Is this really gonna have to be a three-way deal to make this work? Do I have to flip like a Corey Joe over to the Hawks? Garrison Matthews comes back to the Magic. The Magic could always use more shooters. They could use another point guard. Does this work then? Does this work? Recently signed? Okay, we're going to ignore that one because we just presume that the trade will happen sometime after that. Okay, I can stomach this. I think this makes some sense. They get another little point guard. It's 2 years left. Is his contract completely guaranteed, actually? That's something to kind of consider. But again, they don't have another guard on the team, and it would be probably valuable for them to have one. Team opt-out. Okay, yeah, so it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. They get another guard for this year, and that's what matters. All right, so Anthony Simons is gone. We now have Jet Howard on the team, and Scoot Henderson is going to move up to here. And then we also picked up a Mr. Cole Anthony onto this roster. So Cole is going to fit in here, and we're going to see we have technically one roster spot too many on the roster right now, and that's fine. We're going to be making another deal probably instantly to flip somebody else, probably DeAndre Ayton, if I'm being honest. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're also going to note that we have the Nuggets first round pick here, and it's it's like 1 through 5 protected, I believe. So we're going to note that this is 1 through 5 protected. But we picked up another first round pick for this one. Scoot Henderson starting now. Jet Howard is now a guy that we can throw like into the rotation and stuff like that. So let's just move Mr. Rupert down here, or you know what? No, that's not really the position I'd see him playing. I'd see him coming in more so around here. So let's put Jet Howard here. Delano Banton's another name that we could use to sweeten the pot in something, because Delano Banton showed a lot of something last season. He's not really cracking the rotation now. So something to keep an eye on. But let's move DeAndre Ayton now. There's the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. Those are the two obvious teams to try to trade him to. Let's see how we can make it happen. So I have to keep building upon the trade that I had, because there's no way to just like save a roster on this as far as I'm aware. At least I don't think so, right? No, it doesn't look like there's a way to make like a custom roster. Fanspo, get on that. Let me make a custom roster and try things on here. Okay, so I want to try and move him to the Pelicans, because I feel like there's a good move in here where I move DeAndre Ayton over to the Pelicans here. I would like CJ McCollum to come back. Why do I want CJ McCollum to come back? Combo guard isn't going to take away from Scoot Henderson's minutes. He's going to play solid basketball for us. Really good leader. Help us establish culture, things like that. He's played here before, right? So is there a way that I can move multiple people in this? So CJ McCollum, he comes back to us. Can I also send you guys like Banton in this? He goes over to the Pelicans. Does this just work? It does work. I'd like to take some sort of like second round picks for this as well, because we're sending you some interesting people. So give us back some picks as well. What do you have? You guys don't have a lot of second round picks, which is interesting. You have the swap rights with Milwaukee, which could be kind of interesting, and you have a bunch of other first round picks. Are we saying it's worth it for them to get DeAndre Ayton? We know that they're desperate. They also get Delano Banton, who's a pretty interesting player. Could they give us a protected first round pick? This one's protected 5 through 30. That's interesting. They're probably not giving up any of these other picks. Are we just taking like a second back for this? I don't think so, because we're kind of taking salary off their hands and helping them redistribute it amongst their roster. I feel like we can get a first for this. Like, what are we going to get? What are we going to get? This Milwaukee 2027 pick? Or this 2026 Milwaukee swap rates? Give us that. I feel like that's fair. We'll take this one back. That's the trade that we end up doing. DeAndre Ayton's off the roster. out of the way. Delano Banton's been moved as well, so we can kind of make the roster work a little bit better. And we get a 2026 swap rights with Milwaukee in case they completely bottom out for whatever reason. So I can stomach this. Again, a guy that's going to help make the team a little bit better and just redistribute things. This gives us more minutes to give to Klingon, which I'm excited about. And yeah, no, I like this. I think this works. So DeAndre Ayton is now CJ McCollum. That's also saved us just a little bit of money in both directions. So we do this. This now becomes Donovan Klingon here. Oh, I got to update your picture, my boy. Oh, look at that. Movie magic. He's back. That's much better. Much, much cleaner. And so Delano Banton's gone as well. That makes sense. Okay. Now I'm starting to see a little bit of something. Banton's off the roster here. CJ McCollum slides into here like instantly. And again, we're going to rework this roster just a little bit because we're going to presume that everybody's kind of healthy at this point of the season where we're making the moves. So give me a second to work that out. All right, so this is where we find ourselves at, say, December-ish of the season, right? Jeremy Grant's still on the team. Robert Williams is still on the team. Shaden Sharp is hopefully back and playing by now. We have CJ McCollum to actually come off the bench, which is kind of cool. Guys like Jet Howard on the team who we can try to develop, right? Tamani Kamara is still probably in front of him. I want to explore Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams. I don't know if there's a way we can put them into one trade, ship them off to the Lakers because maybe they're interested, but hell, man, let's go give it a shot. This is getting intense. We have a scroll bar on Fanspo now. I've never actually seen this happen. And we got the Lakers all the way over here. Again, just know that this trade is kind of being executed on in the background. So they've got a couple contracts that we could take on if we really wanted to move these guys, and we don't have to move these guys, right? We've already done a couple good things. I would really like to trade Robert Williams, though, somehow. This just feels like a guy that we're waiting to move in some capacity. So if there's not a great way to move like Jeremy Grant and him in one deal, which I have my skepticisms on if we can actually do that and make it worth it, then we'll just find a different place and maybe we'll just hold on to Jeremy Grant because I can stomach that. So if I want to move both of you guys to the Lakers somehow, how much money do I have to make up? I have to make up quite a good amount. And like I said, I don't have to trade Jeremy Grant. He's still going to be valuable in other seasons and stuff. You'll still have 3 years after this one. I can stomach it. So what? We'd have to take back like Rui, which is 17-ish million, and like Gabe Vincent, like does that actually work? Let's just try this out. Does this actually make sense? No, it looks like it fails. They need to cut another 14-ish million. No, okay, so it's not going to work to be able to do both of these guys, and that's fine. That's fine. We're going to say that we're not able to make that one happen, but I'd rather prioritize then getting rid of Robert Williams and trying to find a home for him. Trying to think of places I can send him. Can we bring in the Sacramento Kings here? Can we throw Robert Williams over there? They could use another center and primarily a defensive center. And can we just take back like a Trey Lyles or something like that? Like, can we just take back like a guy that he's going to be a solid veteran presence for us? Or he's a nice player. But again, 1 year guy, we don't have to keep him around long term if we don't want to. We try this trade and it fails. Is it just because of that or does that work? That works. Okay, throw in like a second round pick or something like that then, and or at least like a couple seconds for Robert Williams, presuming he's been playing like okay this season. Give us like this 2028 second round pick. We throw this back to us, give us this other one as well back to us, and now we give this trade a try, and it works. Obviously, the recently signed thing, we're presuming that we're a date in the future at this point, but this I can get behind. Okay, so I've got the pick situation updated. Since then, we've added a new Nuggets pick. We now have a swap best with Milwaukee, and we've added a couple new second-round picks, which my formatting is off. So we have a second-round pick there, and we have a second-round pick there. Now, okay, and who else did we just trade? We just traded Robert Williams. That is now Trey Lyles. Where did Trey go? Oh, I can't spell Trey correctly. Trey Lyles. All right, saved a little bit more money as well. This is awesome. We also give Duop Reith now a chance to get a little bit of burn, which is kind of cool, and I personally like that. So now we got to fit Trey into the rotation somewhere, and that's fine. I don't really feel like playing Chris Murray or Jabari Walker, so I'll throw Trey Lyles into this. We have another floor spacer, which is good. Matisse Thybulle's going to find his way back onto the court at some point, probably above both of these guys, so we'll just say that they're there. Like, we want to get all of them on the court somehow. Not Trey Lyles again, excuse me. Oopsies, I'm messing all of it up. So there's Matisse Thybulle. He's healthy at some point. Now, taking a look at this, we've saved a ton of money, And I feel a lot better about this rotation than I did. Let's go back and work on this now and kind of restructure it. All right, so here's our first 5. Now, let's say we want Scoot at least on the court for 33 minutes. Probably the same with, like, Shaden Sharp. If we're going to keep giving... I don't want to keep giving Jeremy Grant all of those minutes, so we're giving him more so like 34. We'll keep it around 29 here. Donovan Clingan, younger guy, right? So we're going to give him more like 28, maybe even 27. I might go with 27 for Clingan just for now. Again, younger guy. Who do we want as 6-man? We got guys like Cole Anthony. CJ McCollum definitely is 6-man, right? So CJ, he's going to be playing a good amount of minutes for us. Let's presume he's getting around 29-ish as well. After CJ McCollum, where do we want to go? We got guys like Matisse Thybulle who are good on the court. Like Trey Lyles could be valuable. Cole Anthony. I'm not too concerned with Cole Anthony long term because I got guys like CJ McCollum that can be a guard as well. So he's probably going to fall down the rotation a little bit more. Do I want like Kamara on the court with Thybulle? Those are probably my next 2 guys I want to go with. So let's just presume it's Matisse and then Tomani. We're going to go with those 2. And then do I want to throw in like Trey Lyles or something like that? Or Cole Anthony? I don't know. Like, we want to get Reith a couple minutes as well. Is this going to be like an 11-man rotation? It might be. Because I want to get Matisse and Tomani on there. Sorry, Jet. Like, we just got other guys in the team, right? We're going to try to fit you in where we can. It's just we wanted him as an asset at the end of the day. Cole Anthony, like, probably should get a little bit of burn as like a 10th man or something. So we're going to throw Trey in here and then I guess Cole Anthony. How does this work then? Trey's going to play like some center for us, I guess. That can work. I'm not stressed about that. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Scoot Henderson play next to a spacing forward or at center. So I can get behind that a little bit. So Cole Anthony's there. How many minutes are all of you guys getting? Matisse Thybulle. Say we're getting like 21 out of him, maybe like 17 here. How many does this leave us with for you guys? Gonna get like 12-ish minutes here and like 5-ish minutes here. I can stomach this at the very least. I can stomach it. And then who do we got after this? It's going to be like a Jet Howard or a Duop Reith. So let's just say it's Jet. Then we got Reith coming in here. Who else am I missing? Rupert, who's been getting some minutes in real life. Chris Murray and Jabari Walker. So we'll say it's Rupert here. Chris Murray, Jabari Walker. There's your rotation now. How do we feel about this? Donovan Clingan's at least getting some minutes. Jeremy Grant's still going to be out there. Shaden Sharp and Scoot Henderson are playing together. We like Denny as a long-term potential piece. Hopefully CJ's fixing up the culture a little bit, right? And he's going to just provide some solid minutes. We're still letting Thybulle play. Tamani Kamara is going to get some burn. We're going to have an interesting kind of stretch 5 option with Trey Lyles. We have Jet Howard on the team now, which we hope to find a role for him eventually. If someone else goes down, I'd love to throw him in to see if he can be a long-term fit next to some of these other guys. But I like this. We've added some more draft capital and stuff. We're in a better financial situation. This just feels like a better situation. This team's going to suck, right? This team's still not going to be very good, but I at least feel better about the direction. I feel like at least Scoot Henderson might have a chance now because supposedly he's going to have some shooters around him, a guy that'll actually play pick and roll basketball with him now as opposed to Ayton. Duop Reith and him had a good connection last year, so I'd like to see that. I don't know. I feel good about this. I feel like I'm leaving the Portland Trail Blazers in a better place than where I found them. But hey, this is where you guys get to come in. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much.